Call to order the regular council meeting of May 13th, 2019. It is 7:30 p.m. Chief, will you call the roll, please?
Campbell. Here. Consul Magno. Here. Dixon. Here. Gibbons.
Here.
Hannon.
Present.
Harrison.
Present.
McLean.
Here.
Maury.
We have 8 members present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Under chair announcements, executive session of council was held on April 23rd and 24th for personnel interviews, April 22nd for personnel issues, and tonight, May 13th, 2019, for personnel issues. And let's move to the report of the officials and the library director's report.
Good evening. My name is Christine McIntosh. I'm the director of Your Public Library, where we provide opportunities to explore, learn, create, and connect. I have a few fun fundraisers that I want to tell you about. The first is the library's Youth Art Gala, which will be held on Friday, May 17th at 6 p.m. If you join us, you'll get to enjoy live music, refreshments, and some of the most eclectic pieces of art from children of all ages in our community. It's an evening you really don't want to miss, even if you don't know any of the artists that are represented. We still invite you to come out and support the kids in the library. Tickets are $5 in advance, $10 at the door. Also, Designer Bag Bingo will be coming up on Sunday, June 2nd at the Community Center. The doors open at 1:30. Bingo starts at 2 p.m. Tickets are $25. For 10 games of bingo, you get 3 cards for each game. Soft drinks will be provided. You can feel free to bring snacks or dips or whatever else you would like. Tickets are available at the library and at EV Hardware. Proceeds benefit the BP Volunteer Scholarship Fund, which is administered by the Community Foundation. And then we have the BP Fantastic Four Charities Golf Event, which will be held on Monday, July 29th at the Nemacolin Country Club. It's $200 per golfer, and if you don't golf, that's okay. You can join us for dinner for $75. Registration forms are available at the library and also at EV Hardware. We do still have sponsorship opportunities available, and proceeds from this event benefit the Education Foundation, the Community Foundation, the Historical Society, and the library. Just 2 announcements. The library will be closed on Sunday, May 26th and Monday, the 27th for the Memorial Day holiday. And then the library will be closed Sundays throughout the summer. We won't open again on Sundays until after Labor Day. And that is all I have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief?
Council, good evening, everybody. Chief O'Connor here with the Chief's report. We want to thank Dr. Campbell for his presentation at our May Crime Watch group meeting, and he does this opioid and opiate presentation, and it was really informative, and so thank you again. That was one of the best presentations on that topic that I've seen. And I learned some things too that I didn't know, very informative. So the June Crime Watch meeting will be June the 3rd, Monday, 7 p.m. It'll be here at the police department. And we're gonna have an open house and you can tour and see the jail, unless there's a prisoner in there. Then you won't want to see it. And we'll have our firearm simulator up and running, the Milo system. So, don't go to the community center on June the 3rd. Come here down to the police entrance down off the lower parking lot. And then finally on Wednesday, this Wednesday, May the 15th at 8 a.m., it is Police Memorial Day. We will have a brief wreath presentation ceremony in front of our memorial outside the entrance to the police department. We have a piper scheduled. Everyone's welcome. If you're not doing anything, it won't be that long. So public and everybody can come And we want to remember all the fallen officers.
What was that date again, Chief?
Wednesday, the 15th at 8 a.m. Wednesday, the 15th at 8 a.m. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to give like a brief manager's report. Also on Monday, June the 3rd, Bethel Park and Waste Management are going to go to the fully automated garbage system. That means no more loose bags, no loosies. You got to put your stuff in the cans. So here's what I'm going to do again. I'm going to pivot over, and I'm going to give the mayor's report. The mayor's not here, so I'm wearing a few hats tonight. You can get the extra, you can buy an extra garbage can at the Public Works Open House held at Slater Road on the 19th, a Sunday, from 1 to 4 p.m. So if you don't have that extra can yet, this is a good opportunity to get it. They're, what, $55, I think, per can. So you can get it there. There's also a Touch a Truck event for kids. Or if you're an adult, you like to touch trucks too. You know? And you can get this really cool coloring book with this fine crew of people on here, this, you know, the Public Works people. How come I wasn't invited? Thought my head would put a glare or something on it and throw it off. So you get this nice coloring book, touch a truck, and buy a garbage can all at the same time over on Slater Road. And the parking for that event will be, you can park here in the municipal lots or at the Port Authority lot, and then walk over to the facility, correct? It's just a short hike. So we want to have a nice turnout again. That's Sunday from 1 to 4, this Sunday. Get your garbage can, touch a truck, and have a good time. It may be a hot dog. Maybe a hot dog. Okay, the other thing for the mayor had for us is the rabies clinic is Saturday, June the 1st from 9 to 1 p.m. at the fire station on Brightwood. $10 for a shot, $45 for a microchip. Yeah. So there's another event that you can participate in. Thirdly, we have the farmers market is now open Tuesdays from 3 to 7 p.m. at the South Park skating rink. It'll run through September, and there are 25 vendors. 25 vendors. I don't know what they sell, but there's 25 of them there. And then finally, on Monday, May the 27th, is our annual Memorial Day service and parade. Prior to the 8 a.m. service, there will be coffee and donuts here. The service will start at 8 a.m. The guest speaker this year is Major Bob Musner, also Officer Musner. And then at 9 a.m., the parade will start. We'll go from here to the cemetery, and then after the cemetery, there's lunch at the community center. And I think that's it for the mayor. Oh, no, it's not. We have one more thing. We have EMS week, so I would like to have, come on up here, darling, Nora Helfrich and your team, bring them up. Advance and be recognized.
I'm here, Dawn.
We have a really great EMS service here. And I just let you know, when I was coming in tonight, they were sending somebody over to Mount Lebanon for mutual aid. And they back each other up and throughout the South Hills. So in honor of 2019 Emergency Management Services Week, here's a proclamation from Mayor Allen that I'm going to read off to designate the week, May 19th to 25, as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service and the members are ready to provide compassionate, life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, both career and volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continued education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical services providers, and in particular, Tri-Community South EMS Director Nora Helfrich, that's you, and her dedicated and highly skilled team by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jack Allen, as Mayor of the Municipality of Bethel Park, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to the 25th, 2019, as Emergency Medical Services Week with the theme EMS Strong Beyond the Call. The community is encouraged to recognize the value and accomplishments of all those involved in Emergency Medical Services Week as a vital public service, and that the Council of the Municipality of Bethel Park wishes to specifically recognize Tri-Community South EMS for its superior service to Bethel Park and the entire South Hills. Signed, Mayor Jack Allen. Thank you. And present that to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Couple words.
Okay, he always yells at me to keep it short, okay? So Susie invited us to touch the truck, so we certainly will be happy to be there. And in honor of EMS Week, what many people don't realize is there are many fallen EMS providers who lost their lives in the line of duty that many people don't know. So we left Boston on Saturday, and they are riding their bikes 550 miles in honor of the fallen EMS providers. I just talked to one of the riders from who they do this all on their own expenses. They wear dog tags, and each are presented a dog tag for the rider they're representing. They meet their family along the route and hand the spouse or family one of the dog tags, and then they end up right outside of DC, where we have a memorial service and present the family with the American flag and a white rose in their memory, and then we have a leaf engraved with their name on it. And so a lot of our providers wear a fallen oak leaf in their memory. Right now, the New York City Police have escorted them into New York City. They will take them to Times Square, and it's a pretty grueling ride. So please keep these people in your thoughts and prayers that they make it safely. So thank you for our proclamation, too. We work hard.
We do.
We do.
We're a team. Thank you.
Yes, we are.
Any questions?
Chief,
Question.
I got a trivial question. Are you going to let me drive into the facility next Sunday? Will the
Drive
day be
into
off?
the
Well, you said
facility.
you can park in the Port Authority or whatever. I
Yeah, well-
can't walk that distance.
Yeah, we'll work it out with the Public Works Director.
Okay.
Okay.
And the other thing I want to mention, how are we going to communicate with, I don't have to travel too far to get from home to here, and there's lots of people that still have extra stuff outside the cans, and some of the cans are so full that you can't close the lid. So some mail we got said something about communicating with the public to tell them that this is the last week they can do that.
Well, they have 2 weeks, yeah. We're starting tonight, and we're going to be using our other media sources to get the message out.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you very much.
We have you covered. Okay, that it?
That's it.
We're good?
Thanks, Chief. The other
Okay.
Fire Chief's report.
Yes, and Chief Brown was gracious to bring up the tail end of this and let me go and do my multiple reports.
Thanks, Chief. Good evening, everyone. My name's Bob Brown. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief at Bethel Park. Here to give you the report for the month of April. Before that, just one item. Most of you probably seen our first fundraising mailer has gone out. We appreciate all the returns that are coming in. And actually, one other item I'll touch base on. In the last year, we've probably had 3 incidents now, I think it is, where we've come across folks, residents have called, they've had, and they've all occurred in a garage, they've had strange odors in their garage or a smell of something burning. We've actually responded to these calls, and one, we probably spent two hours looking in the garage, could not find a source. We were fortunate enough, we have one of our Allegheny County Fire Marshal detectives that lives in Bethel Park. He happened to hear us out on the call. He stopped by, and what we found out through his help was that folks at the end of the planting season, a lot of times they'll leave take their plants out of a pot that they had been fertilizing all summer long. They'll put the pot in their garage or under a deck or somewhere where it's going to be dry, and then that pot will dry out. As it dries out, we find out the fertilizer is reacting with the very dry soil, which has maybe some dead leaves and some other things in it, which then creates heat. Unbeknownst to us, then that will can create the odor of something burning. We did have one instance where the pot was a plastic flower pot. Enough heat generated to melt that pot a little bit. So just for the residents to keep in mind, if it's outside where it's getting rain on it and things of that nature, nothing to worry about. Myself, we dump all of our planted pots in a big tote, put a lid on it, which keeps it moist, which I had no issues when I opened it just over the weekend. Nothing dried out, so that's always an option for you also. But if any of the residents are getting a strange odor in their garage, always the first thing to do is to give us a call. We'll come and, assist you with it. But again, then we've come across 3 incidents of that now that we may have had them before and just not been able to determine them. Now we have, that's one of the first things we may look at if we go to a strange odor in a garage or anywhere. Could be outside the house, under a deck where they're undercover. The key is they dry out, and then the fertilizer that has been in there throughout the year, it reacts, creates the heat, and then they get the odor. And my last thing will be the report for the month of April. Still continuing on a pretty hectic pace. For April, we had 37 total calls, breaking them down. 4 building fires, 1 vehicle fire, 1 natural gas leak, 1 carbon monoxide incident, 3 electrical conditions. We had one power line down. We assisted our police department on 2 incidents. Dispatched, canceled, and route calls totaled 8. A lot of those are, not a lot, probably half, mutual aid calls into our surrounding communities where they think that they need our assistance, and then while we're en route, they are able to handle it on their own. 3 smoke scares or an odor of smoke, 8 fire alarms, and 5 carbon monoxide detector activations. And that totals 37 for the month of April. And that's all I have, and unless anybody has any questions.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's move to the approval of the minutes. Mr. McLean.
First item is approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting of April 8th, 2019. I move that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of April 8th, 2019.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the regular council meeting minutes of April 8th, 2019. Chief, you call the roll, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Consul Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes,
McLean.
Yes.
Maury. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Let's go to bills and payrolls and Mr. McLean.
Under bills and payrolls, I move that we approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 051319 in the amount of $1,827,144.43.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the bills and payrolls for municipality per bill list number 051319 in the amount of $1,827,144.43. Any discussion of council on this item? Chief, will you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Consolmagno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannan.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Next item is resident comments for non-agenda items. Mr. Phelan?
Rich Pauler, 1119 Logan Road. I've been coming here for a long time, trying to get a major issue fixed, which is the flooding in Bethel Park. Unfortunately, after the meeting last week, me and some of the other residents in another ward were talking. An incident happened. It's very disappointing. During the conversation, Mr. Consolmagno decided to insinuate that I'm a liar. Okay, he told them not to believe everything they hear. Okay, it's very disappointing to me that somebody would say that, seeing that I'm trying to get a problem fixed, and seeing that he hasn't been here very long. And during the conversation with them, he mentioned to them that this is the first he's hearing of their problems. As the residents spoke, they did say this has been happening for 50 years. So I don't know where he's been for 50 years, but this has been going on a long time. Okay, so for him to say that, question my integrity is very disappointing, seeing that he doesn't even know what's going on in his own ward. And he shouldn't be questioning anybody else with that. I think all the residents been flooded over the years need to get involved with each and every council member up there to do whatever they can to get the situation with the flooding in Bethel Park resolved. If not, then we need to get some new people on council that care about this major issue. Okay. Mark, I apologize, but I think he just made your life a little harder because, I don't know where he's coming from. He has no proof. He has no backing. Everything I've ever had is in writing. Okay. I wouldn't even be involved in this if I was a low-life scumbag like what the municipality wanted me to do, is just sell my house. But I had the integrity to stay and fight it rather than dump it on somebody else, first-time home buyer. So anybody wants to challenge my integrity, come for it. You'll have a fight. There's a phrase I want to get out there. Well, first of all, there's 4 council positions up for election this year. It's time to get something going or get something changed. It's as simple as that. I want all the residents of Bethel Park to get involved in that, because with it, nothing's going to change in this borough. There's a phrase out there, all homeowners that get flooded need to remember. Write down, talk to whoever it is. It's called reverse condemnation, because I'm sure you'll all be hearing about it very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Rich, I did receive the report from NYRA from back in 1999. There seems to be some drawings missing. I went over it a few times, so I apologize for not being here last month. I'm still trying to obtain those drawings of the recommendations from your property from 1999. So once we find them, I'll make sure you get a copy of them. Okay, appreciate it. Okay?
Let's move to general policy and finance, and Mr. McLean.
Thank you. First item under the agenda under General Policy and Finance is ordinance number 5-13-19, increase in fees for TCS EMS. I move that we approve ordinance 5-13-19, amending Chapter 34 fees, Articles 5, 6, and 7 of the Code of the Municipality of Bethel Park to increase fees assessed for emergency and non-emergency transport and other services provided by the Tri-Community South Emergency Medical Service System.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 5-3-19, amending Chapter 34 Article 5, Article 6, and Article 8 of the Code of the Municipality of Bethel Park to increase fees assessed for emergency and non-emergency transport and other service provided by Tri-Community South Emergency Medical Service System. Any discussion from council on this? Chief, will you call the roll, please?
Campbell.
Yes.
Counsel Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Mr. Harrison.
I'd like to just remind the public that they may know from personal experience or from the many citations our Tri-Community EMS has received and the one tonight from the mayor. So we have an excellent service. The problem that our EMS is having and all of them is financial. The prices for everything's going up, as you know, the equipment they need, the supplies and that type thing. So in this ordinance, the amount that has to be paid by the user of the service is tabulated for all the various services that Tri-Community gives. The key thing that is important that those fees are assessed to everyone. However, if you're a subscriber to Tri-Community, then you only pay 50% of these fees for the service provided. I mention that because this ordinance, which we passed, will become, it says effective immediately, but immediately means in 30 days, because our home rule charter requires that an ordinance is not effective until 30 days after it's acted on by council. So the point I want to make is that if you're not a subscriber, you'll be assessed the fees indicated in the ordinance. If you are a subscriber, you only have to pay 50% of that amount, you or your insurance carrier, however you pay. So what I'm suggesting is if you're not a subscriber, you have 30 days to become a subscriber and be covered by this new ordinance. And if we all hope we don't have to use the EMS service anytime. I personally, for many years, and didn't use it, and in the last few years, I've had to use this a lot. But the point I want to make is that if you do become a subscriber, the amount you pay for an annual subscription would be maybe a third or a fourth of what you would have to pay for a service if you are not a subscriber. So I'm encouraging the non-subscribers to consider becoming a subscriber, and what that does for them if they don't have to use the Tri-Community EMS, they've just bought an insurance policy. If they do, it's going to have a financial asset for them. So you can check with the EMS or check with the municipal office and get the application you need. It's very simple to become a subscriber, and I think the subscription rate is $40. But
$60
that's
now.
a bargain.
Mr. Harrison, the subscription is $60.
Excuse me?
$60.
$60. Okay, thank you. I forgot to check. Okay, but like I say, if you become a subscriber, you're assessed only 50% of what these numbers indicate in the ordinance for the services. So if you're not a subscriber, I encourage you to consider subscribing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Mr. McLean.
Next item on the agenda is employment of a municipal manager. I move that we hire Lawrence Christian as the municipal manager with a start date to be determined by municipal council.
Second?
There's a motion and a second to hire Lawrence Christian as the municipal manager with a start date to be determined by municipal council. Any discussion from council on this item? Chief, will you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Campbell.
Yes.
Counsel Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Council has spent a lot of work in the last few months to go through the process and hire Mr. Christian. He's coming from out of state. I think he's very qualified, and as far as the council's done its homework and evaluated the candidates appropriately, and we wish him well, and within his children in school, so within a month or two, he'll be in here and in place. So good luck to Mr. Christian and his future in Bethel Park. Mr. McLean.
Mr. Hannon, I'd like to just add a couple of comments. One, I want to thank the other members of council, including Mr. Mowry, who's not here this evening, for their involvement and participation in the process of selecting a municipal manager. As Mr. Hannon indicated, it was a pretty thorough and robust process, and everybody here who voted in favor of the hiring of Mr. Christian tonight, including Mr. Mowry, spent a lot of time, and I think it was a very good process. We'll have a chance to introduce you to Lawrence Christian soon. You'll learn a little bit more about him in the coming days as we provide the public and the community with some information about his background. He comes to us from a military background, but as you'll also learn, he's had an interest, including during the time he was in the military, in city management, and has participated in a program that the military has to transition you from the military into private life. And he, in particular, selected an opportunity to work in the city manager's office in Columbus, Georgia, before he found out about this opportunity. He has family in this part of the country, which is part of the reason that he's interested in returning with his family. So we're excited, and we're excited for the opportunity for the public to meet him as soon as he can get here and we can introduce him. Thank you.
Mr. Hannon, I may just add to what's been said. This is a gentleman that did a lot of homework before he came before us to be interviewed. He went on the site and identified the names of each council member and their face, so when he saw them, he'd know who he was talking to, and he reviewed the distribution of real estate and that type of thing. And I understand he actually made a bid on a home, but the point I want to make is that here's a person, when he comes, he's already learned a lot about the municipality, and I'm sure he'll learn a lot more, but I think we'll be quite satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Any other? Mr. O'Brien.
You know, the interview process, there was some great candidates. It's very lengthy and time-consuming. This council's makeup brought a lot of very diverse questions, a lot of interesting angles. I certainly wouldn't want to be sitting in the chair in front of this board. It would be definitely difficult. There's no question about it, and intimidating, but that's what the people of Bethel Park deserve. This man had passion more than anyone else, and believe it or not, passion for this town. He knew all about us before this job even came available, and that's interesting. He found so many wonderful qualities about Bethel Park in Pennsylvania. He was searching for a place to come in Pennsylvania, so that's very encouraging to all of us. I'm looking forward to working with him. I find him very unique. His service to his country it is absolutely unbelievable. We appreciate that, and it's going to be great working with him. So I welcome him here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any other discussion with council? Mr. McLean.
Next agenda item is appointment to the Shade Tree Commission. I move that we appoint Aaron Carter to the Shade Tree Commission for a term to expire on December 31, 2022.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to appoint Aaron Carter to the Shade Tree Commission for a term to expire on December 31st, 2022. Any discussion on this? Chief, will you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Consul Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Murray. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Mr. McLean.
No additional agenda items under general policy and finance.
Is there any additional items, anybody? Okay, let's go to planning and zoning and Mr. Dixon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have no items under planning and zoning this month.
Do you have any additional items? Hearing none. Go to health, safety, and welfare, Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. Chairman, there are no items under health, safety, and welfare. However, I have one.
Mr. O'Brien.
Just to correct something a wee bit, the service on Memorial Day starts at 7:50. It used to start at 8 o'clock, but we moved it up 10 minutes because the band buses pull in and all the people come for the parade, and it kind of just detracts from the last and most meaningful part of the ceremony in the morning. So we start at 7:50. Once again, our guest speaker is Major Robert C. Musner Jr., Deputy Provost Marshal of 28th Infantry Division, PA Army National Guard. He is also one of our Bethel Park police officers. Join us around 6:30 for coffee and donuts. That'd be about 7. About 7 o'clock we get them out, not 6:30. I get here around 6:30. About 7 o'clock, 7:15, they start coming out. So see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Let's go to public works and maintenance and Lori.
Resolution number R5-13-19A, DCED Flood Mitigation Grant. I move that we approve resolution number R5-13-19A to apply for a DCED Commonwealth Financing Authority grant for the Peter Page Park Storm Water Project funding.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution number R5-13-19A to apply for a DCED Commonwealth Financing Authority grant for the Peter Page Park Stormwater Project funding. Any discussion from council?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. O'Brien.
I guess this goes directly to Rich. Rich, this doesn't apply to you and doesn't apply to your part of Bethel Park, but this does apply to the first phase of this council working forward to try and mitigate some of the flooding. This is in the Peter Page Park area down by the high school, which was hit on that day in June just as horribly as you were hit and the rest of your neighbors on Logan. So this is one of the in the first phase. We're applying for this grant to flood mitigation. So I understand your frustration. We do have a plan. It's going to take a long time, but we do have a plan. So maybe over the next couple months, we'll get into more about sharing the plan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any other discussion from council? Chief, will you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Consul Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes,
McLean.
Yes.
Myrie. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Ms. Gibbons.
Resolution number R5-13-19B, PEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, Designation of Agent. I move that we approve resolution number R5-13-19B authorizing Timothy O'Connor, acting municipal manager, the ability to execute documents on behalf of the municipality for the application and the grant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution number R5-13-19B, authorizing Timothy O'Connor, acting municipal manager, the ability to execute documents on behalf of the municipality for the application and the grant. Any discussion from council on this item? Chief, will you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Consul Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes. Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Myrie. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0.
That's all the items on the agenda. I do have one quick reminder again that the Touch a Truck is Sunday, May 19th from 1 to 4, and we're really proud of our new Public Works garage, so please come out and see it.
Thanks. Any other comments for the good of the order? Do a motion to adjourn?
So moved.